is up and welcome back to my channel. It's Madison and today's video is going to be my experience with Playlist Live and how it went. No, the title is not clickbait. Andrea RUSSET actually called security on me and two other girls. My friend Kiana actually made a video telling the same story, so I don't know if she has hers up yet, but I'll link that down below. Some of the footage that was in my my intro of like Heath, of him waving, that is from my friend Sydney's vlog. I was standing right next to her and asked her if I could use the footage because I didn't actually get any myself. So that is not my footage. That is why it says @Sydney at the bottom. So full credit to her for that video. A couple of other videos, like the one of Toddy saying hi to the vlog, that is also her video. I was standing right there, so that's why I asked her if I could use the footage. Here just to see, or did Andrea RUSSET call security on you? Yes, it'll be towards the end because that's the last thing that happened to me before I left Playlist, is she called security. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So this year you got a bag that was clear. Last year it was a solid black bag. I personally like the solid black bag better, but this one is a lot bigger than last year. Last year it came with like some makeup and stuff. This year it didn't really come with anything. This year was actually one of the bigger playlists they've ever had. They said this year was the biggest one that they've had at the World Trade Center, I think Trade Center, right? Marriott Hotel in Orlando. It was the biggest one they've had, but that is also because David Dobrik, Andrea RUSSET, The Gabby Show, Alex and Toddy and Jason Nash and all the bigger YouTubers were there this year. So that is why there was more people this year. But it comes with this book. It came with it last year. I probably still have mine from last year. And it basically just has the creators, a map, and then sponsors and all that good stuff. It also came with the event schedule, which like has like the meetups and where they're gonna be at what times. It's also on the Playlist Live app. So we had that. And then it came with these stickers and then the classic advertisements for stuff. It also came with a love handle. We got one of these last year. I actually lost the one I had last year, but you put it on your phone, on your thing, and you hold it holds your phone so you don't like fling your phone around. But then these are the badges. This year these are the badges. This year I met a ton of people this year, like a ton. And so I went with different people a lot this year than I did last year. This year I went with people that were actually interested in what I was going for and they had common interests. So this year I actually met two girls, and Playlist would have been a totally different experience if I didn't meet them. I am so glad I met them. Their names were Sydney and Christina. How we met them, we got in line, we were in line, and I was saying who's here. David Dobrik was there already, and I was watching his story and I was like, oh my gosh, David Dobrik's up in his hotel room. And of course when I say David Dobrik, everyone turns around. But then later in line I was still talking about David, and then they said something, they were like, David Dobrik? And I was like, yeah, David Dobrik. And then we just started talking. So thank you to David Dobrik for introducing me to those two wonderful people that I will probably still be friends with way in the future, being like, hey, let's stick together. And so then we exchanged phone numbers, and they ended up having to wait in line a little bit longer because there was a mix-up with their tickets, and so we met up later. But here's how we met up. So we get into Playlist, and some of the people that I definitely wanted to meet, we bought our tickets late, like a week before Playlist. And so we got the meetup groups that were left. We didn't get I wanted to meet David Dobrik. Those were full. I'm like, crap, I really wanted to meet Alex. I wanted to meet Toddy. I wanted to meet David Nash, Jason Nash, and David Dobrik. And I was like, well, there's no way I'm going to meet them. They're not going to be out wandering around the hotel. So we're walking around. I haven't met anybody yet. So I met my first person. The first person that I met was Toddy. I met Toddy. That was the first person I met. How did I meet Toddy? I was standing, the lobby is huge, so they were on the other side of the lobby and I was on the other side of the lobby. And I was walking and I'm just looking around, I see Alex's head. I go, oh my gosh, to Kiana, and I go, oh my gosh, I just said oh my gosh, and Alex is my favorite, so I flipped out and I started shaking immediately as soon as I saw him, just seeing him in person. So I run up there. They're of course mobbed, so I'm I'm getting my way to the middle of the mob, and I couldn't get to Alex yet, so I ended up getting to Toddy first. So that's how I met Toddy first, but I saw Alex. So I took a picture of Toddy. So here's a picture I took with Toddy, and he was really sweet, and I actually ended up meeting Toddy 5 more times. And so that was great. I met Alex a total of 3, and I went to get my picture with Alex. And because I am so like, Alex is like my favorite, I froze. And so when I went up to Alex, I ended up right next to him. Like he was standing like shoulder to shoulder with me, and I looked at him like this. And then he turned to look at me, and I go, hi. And he goes, hi. And I was like, oh my gosh. I didn't get a picture with him then. And I was like, what am I doing? I didn't get a picture. So then I had to like run back up to him, and I got a picture. Here's the very first picture I took with Alex. That is one of my favorite pictures, just because you can see the color of our, like, okay, this is weird, but just because how clear it is with the colors of our eyes. A couple minutes later, we ran into Jason Nash. And that was crazy, because I was like, I am meeting people person after person after person after person from David's vlogs. So here's my picture with Jason Nash. It was a little blurry, but it's okay because he was trying to get into a restaurant, and it's whatever. And then so I also took this video of him, because to me, having the video of, you know, my favorite people on my phone and knowing like I took this video of them, it's like, it's everything. So I met Jason Nash. And then we ran into Alex and Toddy again. I didn't get a picture with Toddy this time, but I got a picture with Alex. This one was like, it was darker, but you could still like see it. It's still Alex. Here's Alex. And okay, so last year I met a guy named Noah Schnacky. He is a singer, and I went to his concert last year, and then I ended up becoming friends with some of his friends. And so we're not like friends, we're like acquaintances. Like he recognized me, but he wasn't sure from where. So we talked a little bit. Here's some of our pictures we took. Most of the ones from here were just us giving me a hug. And then at the end, it was just me, Sydney, Christina, and Kiana just standing there talking to him. And then we ran into him so much that weekend that he ended up calling like us, like my girls, like, hey, there's my girls right there. And we left him. And then we ran into Damien Frakiewicz. He's like, last year when I met him last year, he wasn't mobbed at all. This year he was mobbed. Like people, like a lot more people knew who he was this year than he did last year. Here's a picture I took with, I almost said Jack Dale, Damien. And then he decided to take a picture. He's like, here, let me take it. But it was blurry. And so there's that one. Still walking around, and we run into Jack Dale. Here's the picture I took of with Jack Dale. Well, actually, Kiana took the picture. But after Jack Dale, we ran into Brian. I think his name Redmond, excuse me. We also ran into Big Nick. He was actually getting on the elevator to go to his room, and he was really flustered and like freaking out, like he can't get to his hotel room. So we didn't actually talk to him. Back to Noah, he also put us on his Snapchat story. Here's that. So then after that, we ran into Alex and Toddy again. I didn't get a picture with Toddy, and then I got a picture with Alex again, but it is blurry. He was moving, he was trying to get away from the mob, so there's that. The next day, we had a meetup. It was for Ricky and Denzel. Kiana and I both had a meetup for them. So here's our picture that I got with Ricky and Denzel. Kiana actually got the Playlist Live fan goals experience. She met a vlogger, I'm not gonna say his name, and she got his phone number. He actually gave it to her, and they started talking a little bit on the phone. She got to go into where all the creators were. He brought her back there. We weren't allowed to go in there because he gave her his pass. They hung out a lot, and I was a little bit jealous because she got to go back where everyone was and basically go everyone's dream, right? But then we ran into Noah again, and we walk up to him and we're talking. He goes, hi, because he recognized us. And then he was like, are y'all gonna come up to my show tonight? And we were like, yeah. And then he was like, okay, I'm gonna stop the show and be like, hey, there's my girls, right? Because we told him we were gonna get in the front row. I'll put the clips of like his concert at the end. After the show, we ended up running into him at the food basket, pantry, court, whatever you want to call it. And we went up to him, and we were talking about the show, and we told him how mad we were that we ended up not getting front row after 2 hours of waiting. And he goes, no, but I still saw you guys. And so then we ended up like taking a picture. Then the next day, this is on Sunday, this is the last day of Playlist, Zane and Heath were having a Q&A. And Sydney and I were determined to get front row at the Q&A, and we thought how far we back were in the line. We were gonna get second or third row. We got front row. We got the front row. Here's the video of us, like of me, like being like, we got front row. I'll put all the clips of Zane and Heath also at the end. If you want to watch some of that Q&A, I can put some at the end for you guys. So we're standing there, and I see Heath's big hat, the big brown round one that he wears, and I go, there he is. And she was like, who? And I said, there's Heath, but I said it like quietly. So So we went and met up with Heath at the back of the restaurant. Here's my picture with Heath. He is the sweetest person you will literally ever meet. Sydney got the video, but I'll put it in again here.
Hi, how are you?
So I'm on the phone with Sydney. I was like, yeah, I just got on my meetup, and I see Toddy out of the corner of my eye. I go, oh my God. And she goes, what? And I was like, that's Toddy. And she goes, where are you at? And I said, I'm in the expo. She hauls butt down to the expo. We meet up with Toddy. Here's the video she got of Toddy.
What's up, vlog? We're at Playlist 2017, and this is her channel.
So she gets that video of Toddy, and then I get another picture with Toddy. I ended up meeting Cole LeBrant out by the pool, so there's Cole LeBrant. We really didn't meet anybody else, and they sadly had to leave because they were saying that I had to go back. They had to drive all the way back to Tampa, which I was very sad that they left, and I felt like Playlist just died when they left. We're still walking around, Kiana and I, and then I see these two guys with like shirts around their head and these little tiny glasses on, and I was like, oh my gosh, like they were like in disguise, but the glasses they had on, you know who they were. It was Toddy and Matt. But I ran into Mama Mia Makeup, and I walked up to her, I was like, hi, and I give her a hug, and she goes, oh my gosh. I was like, and she's like, you are so gorgeous. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mama Mia Makeup just called me gorgeous, like what is happening? And then I was walking around and I see Big Nick. And Big Nick was having kind of like a little meetup in this little area, so I walk over, and he was like, oh, I have to get my Universal tickets, so y'all just take a picture and leave. And so then I took a picture with Big Nick. It's kind of blurry, but it's okay. Here comes the moment everyone has been waiting for. Andrea Russet called security on me. Toddy posted a picture of Zane, and Zane posted a picture of Toddy. So you couldn't tell where they were at because they were in a booth. And I'm like, they're in a restaurant. They're in a restaurant. And I'm like, okay, but which restaurant? Because they could have left Playlist and went to a restaurant. This is gonna sound so weird. I recognized the booth that they were in because the night before we were in the booth. So I knew what restaurant it was. I hauled butt to the restaurant. I sat outside that restaurant waiting to meet Zane for 2 hours. 2 hours. I got there at 5 and I was supposed to leave at 7. I sat there till 7:11. Okay? Here's why I did not meet Zane and how Andrea Russet called security on me. Playlist was technically over at 6, so the lobby was cleared out. There was nobody there. There's a few creators, so if they were to come out of the restaurant, they would not have gotten mobbed. And I saw these two girls were sitting there too, and I was like, they're probably here for Zane. And so I kind of like was listening to their conversation, and I was like, are y'all waiting for somebody? And they were like, yeah, are you? And I was like, yeah. And so then we started talking, and so then we were okay, here's the restaurant entrance. We were standing right here. So we were a good distance away from the restaurant entrance. And we're standing there waiting, talking. I'm standing to where I can look at the restaurant entrance. They had their backs to the entrance. Like, you know, because another girl came out and was like, if y'all waiting for them, they're getting up right now to come out here. And we were like, okay. So we got ready and we're sitting there waiting. Nothing happens. And then all of a sudden, she is so short. I did not think Andrea was this short. I didn't even recognize it was her. So she comes out, looks me dead in the face, makes this like nasty, like, oh crap look, and then turns around so fast and hauls butt back in the restaurant. And I was like, are you serious? And I was like, okay, number one, there's only 3 people standing outside the restaurant. So, and if you didn't want a picture with us, you literally could have just said, okay, no pictures. I would have been thrilled to sit there and talk to you and give you a hug and let you go. I love Andrea. So like if she didn't want a picture, I'd respect that. But no, she gave me this nasty look, turned around and ran back in the restaurant. And I was like, what the heck? And then this other guy came out, I don't even know who it was, did the same thing that Andrea did. And I noticed that a lady at the desk followed Andrea back into the restaurant. And I was like, okay, she's probably gonna go take them because they have back ways so they don't have to get mobbed. And I was still waiting for Zane to come out, but I figured Andrea said something to Zane. And so I'm still sitting there waiting, and then all of a sudden the lady that followed Andrea comes back to the front desk and picks up the phone. And I'm like, okay, she's probably just getting in contact with somebody saying, hey, we need to get them through the back way, they're gonna be late, blah, 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 because they were supposed to get their Universal tickets. And Kiana, as a joke, was like, oh, she's probably calling security. And I was like, stop, like, don't even say that. Like, I don't want to, like, have to deal with security right now. We're literally, for all Andrea knows, we could have just been standing there because we were about to go in the restaurant. We were waiting for a table. We were leaving the restaurant, and we were just talking, saying goodbye. We could have literally not even known who Andrea was. Next thing I know, here comes a security guard, like, coming out of the doors. He didn't actually, like, say anything to us, but he looks me in the face and goes like that. And I was like, are you serious? I look at him, and I was like, and he goes, I was like, really? Like, really? And so we ended up having to walk away. Because we had to walk away, I sat 2 hours, not even waiting to meet Andrea, waiting to meet Zane. And I didn't get to meet Zane. Oh well. So I got called security on by Andrea Russet, I guess. That was my Playlist Live experience, and I definitely want to go back next year, but next year I kind of want to go as a creator. Nah, but I would love to go back next year. I'm going to try to go back next year. This video probably was fairly long because of me talking and telling the whole 3 days experience, and if you sat all the way through this, thank you so much for watching. And I definitely would appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribed. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, which is crazy considering I haven't posted and I haven't posted in forever, like actual like sit down content. I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you, Playlist. Thank you, y'all, for supporting me. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Go check out Kiana's video. I may or may not have that one linked down because I don't know when it's gonna go up. Sydney's is up, so hers is linked down below. And make sure you go check those out as well. Give them a thumbs up, subscribe, comment on their videos saying that I sent you there, just so they know where you're coming from. And yeah, so I will see you guys next week.
We collide.
And on fire, I want to tell you guys right now. Yeah. No, no. Oh! Come on up, Dragon.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's just like, hey, I just bought this camera, let's start filming. We're all like, David, you're not gonna go ahead and this.
We're like, dude, just cut it off, bro.
Just return that camera, and let's be real, you're not gonna go anywhere with that. He's 20 years old. That's it. That's it.
And we still dead, bro.
You guys got a matching tattoo, not drunk, but like.
I was about to lick my legs. Which one do you want to do?
I love you, Heath.
I love you.
Zane's dying.
Adopt me.
All right, we're taking it back.
Buying